In the world of professional wrestling, where ego, legacy, and performance constantly collide, Hall of Famer Kevin Nash has never been one to shy away from controversy. Recently, the former WWE champion stirred up conversation once again when he addressed a claim suggesting that a former WWE star was a better worker than him. The remark did not sit well with Nash, who fired back with the confidence, sarcasm, and blunt honesty fans have come to expect from the outspoken legend. This situation has quickly become a talking point among wrestling fans, analysts, and insiders, reviving old debates about match quality, in-ring psychology, star power, and what truly defines a great worker in professional wrestling. Let's dive deep into what happened, why Nash reacted the way he did, and what this reveals about the evolving standards of performance in sports entertainment. Before exploring the controversy, it's important to understand who Kevin Nash is within wrestling history. Nash, also known to fans as Big Daddy Cool Diesel, built a reputation throughout the 1990s and early 2000s as one of the industry's most influential big men. With his towering 7-foot frame, calm charisma, and trademark jackknife powerbomb, Nash became a key figure in the wrestling boom period. His impact stretches across both WWE and WCW, where he formed the iconic New World Order (NWO) alongside Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall. However, Nash's in-ring style has always been a source of debate. To some, he was a smart, calculated storyteller who protected his body and made every move count. To others, he was a limited performer who relied more on charisma and connections than technical skill. Because of this dual legacy, any comparison involving Nash naturally sparks strong opinions. The situation began when someone online claimed that a former WWE talent was a better worker than Kevin Nash. Though these kinds of comments are common in the modern social media era, this particular accusation struck a nerve. Nash responded on his popular podcast, demonstrating both annoyance and amusement. From Nash's perspective, the criticism wasn't necessarily an insult to his athletic ability, it was an attack on his understanding of wrestling as an art form. Nash has long argued that wrestling isn't solely about moves, flips, or athletic flashiness. To him, being a worker is about pacing, presence, psychology, crowd connection, and the ability to sell a moment. In other words, Nash believes wrestling is more than physical ability, it's performance. Wrestling veterans often place a high value on respect, especially when it comes to comparing eras or talent levels. Nash took offense not simply because someone doubted his ability, but because the comment ignored the broader reality of his career and contributions. 1. He helped shape an entire era of wrestling. Nash was part of the backstage and on-screen creative movements that changed wrestling forever. As a founding member of the NWO, he helped usher in the Monday Night Wars, sparking one of the hottest periods in wrestling history. This impact gives him, and many stars of his generation, a sense of pride. 2. He believes work rate has been misinterpreted. Modern fans often praise matches filled with fast-paced sequences, high-flying maneuvers, and technical complexity. Nash has repeatedly criticized this style when it becomes overly choreographed or unrealistic. He sees his generation's approach as more grounded and believable. 3. Nash is known for speaking his mind. Kevin Nash has never held back his opinions. Whether discussing wrestler safety, storytelling, or locker room politics, Nash has always been unapologetically honest. Naturally, a comment undermining his legacy was bound to draw a reaction. At the heart of this controversy lies a fundamental question: what defines a better worker in professional wrestling? Wrestling fans famously disagree on this topic, and the sport's subjective nature makes it nearly impossible to find a universal answer. For some fans, a great worker is someone who executes moves beautifully, someone with high stamina and agility, someone who can perform long, physically demanding matches. For others, including many veterans, a great worker is someone who connects emotionally with the audience, someone who can tell a story in the ring, someone who protects their opponent while maximizing impact, someone who listens to crowd reactions and adjusts accordingly. Nash belongs firmly in the second camp. His body of work reflects a style based on timing, emotion, and character rather than physical complexity. This debate highlights a generational divide within the wrestling community. Modern wrestling fans, especially those who follow indie promotions, Japan, or AEW, often praise matches filled with rapid counters, long sequences, aerial maneuvers, non-stop action, Old school wrestlers, however, emphasize psychology, pacing, believability, selling, body language. Nash's reaction demonstrates this cultural clash. His frustration stems from seeing a younger fanbase judge older performers using modern standards rather than evaluating them within their era and style. While Nash didn't name the exact person during his reaction, the conversation online has revolved around several possibilities. The comparisons likely stem from discussions involving stars who wrestled with a more athletic or dynamic style, perhaps talents who were praised for their technical ability. Regardless of the specific individual, the issue for Nash wasn't the wrestler themselves, it was the implication that his entire generation's approach was inferior. Nash responded with a mix of humor and irritation, reminding listeners of his longevity, financial success, and mainstream fame. To Nash, the numbers speak for themselves. He headlined major events. He wrestled against the biggest stars of all time. He drew money, sold merchandise, and contributed to record ratings. He maintained a long career despite multiple injuries. In the wrestling industry, drawing power has historically mattered more than pure in-ring skill. And by that standard, Nash sees himself as unquestionably successful. This situation also underscores a bigger theme: how modern audiences talk about past generations of wrestlers. Many veterans feel younger fans don't fully appreciate the physical toll, limitations, and working style of the 80s and 90s. Nash's reaction reflects a common frustration. Today's wrestling fans sometimes compare performers across eras without context. A fair comparison must consider differences in training, match length, backstage expectations, television production, physical toll, audience expectations. Nash's era wasn't designed for constant 5-star matches, it was designed for storytelling and realism. As expected, the wrestling community reacted quickly and passionately. Social media, podcasts, and forums erupted with heated debate. Supporters of Kevin Nash said, "He's right, being a great worker isn't just about athletic moves. He contributed more to wrestling history than many modern stars. His psychology and timing were underrated." Critics argued, Nash's matches lacked energy and athleticism. His success came partly from his size and backstage influence. Modern wrestling styles offer more excitement for today's audiences. This polarized reaction highlights why wrestling is such a unique form of entertainment. Every fan values different aspects of the art. The debate sparked by Nash's comments is valuable because it pushes fans to think critically about what wrestling performance truly means. It also emphasizes that wrestling styles evolve, just like music, film, or sports. What was considered great in 1995 differs drastically from today. 1990s wrestling priorities: story-driven feuds, larger-than-life characters, believable fight sequences, slower pace. 2020s wrestling priorities: athleticism, constant action, visually impressive spots, longer matches. Neither style is right or wrong, they simply reflect different eras and audience expectations. Regardless of debates, Kevin Nash's legacy remains secure. He is a WWE Hall of Famer, a multi-time world champion, a key figure of the NWO, one of the most influential big men in wrestling history, a respected podcast host whose opinions still shape the industry. He may not have been a technical wizard, but he understood the wrestling business more deeply than many who came after him. Kevin Nash's reaction isn't just about one comment, it reflects a generational conversation within the wrestling world about how performers are judged and remembered. This controversy opens the door to important discussions. 1. How do we measure greatness in wrestling? Is it about athletic ability, storytelling, or drawing power? 2. Do modern fans understand the context of older wrestling eras? Every era has limitations and strengths. 3. Are veterans being respected for their contributions? Their knowledge helped shape the industry we see today. 4. Can different styles coexist without eliminating one another? Wrestling thrives on diversity. Kevin Nash didn't just defend himself, he defended an entire philosophy of wrestling.